Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Business and Opportunities in Ukraine. My name is Mike Wilson, and I'm brought to you by Andesite Blue, and I'm thankful for Toloka Studios for our productions and putting us on. Well, today I'll be alone, but I have a lot of topics to go over that I would like to talk to you about, and so it should be a pretty exciting evening. I really appreciate all of you who come on live stream and to listen to me, and of course, even throughout the weeks, the people who will catch up when they get a chance to view the videos and take a look at what content that I have. I hope that what I give and share with you is hopeful. I know that a few people have commented to me and expressed their appreciation and the things that have inspired them. So that's good feedback. I enjoy that. It lets me know that I'm on the right track. I chose business and opportunities because I'm a businessman. I'm from the United States. I've been doing business for 40 years. I've started many companies. I've run many companies. I've been trained from some of the top companies like AT&T, Panasonic, Toshiba, many of the top line, even Porsche and a lot of the top automobile industries. And they all have very, very extensive and very intense training programs for their sales force and their staff. So I bring that experience here to Ukraine. And when I moved here in Ukraine almost 5 years ago, it was an amazing thing to see. It was to come here. I've been to Ukraine before. I was trained in the military, as I've told you many times before. In 2015, I've been here in 2012, and so I've had a back and forth in Ukraine for some time. But to actually live here, it gives you an opportunity to kind of feel and see what's going on around you. And I've always loved the culture. I love the kindness of the people. There's just so much that I enjoy about Ukraine. And now it's my home. It's a place that I've decided to put my roots and to call home. And Kiev is the city that I have chosen and that I live in. People always ask why Kiev, and I said I couldn't live in any other city in Ukraine. Kharkiv is nice, Lviv is nice, Odessa, I've been to Kherson, I haven't had a chance to go to Mariupol yet, I'd like to visit Dnipro, and many other cities, but I've been around Ukraine a bit, and the reason why I say Kiev is because I'm from Los Angeles. I lived in Honolulu. These are very, very densely packed and populated cities and in the world, and you kind of get used to that, and you formulate your business ideas and your concepts around having that type of density of population. So that's why I'm in Kiev. Kiev is a wonderful city. It used to be the city that never sleeps. Right now we are in a curfew situation, so that has changed things at this time. So the city goes to sleep after 11. The curfew ends at 12, but most people try to get home between 11 and 12 at night to get in by the curfew time and settle in. So it's very peaceful and quiet from 12 to 5. But prior to that, there was always some wonderful activities going on, whether it was if you liked a club, if you liked restaurants, if you liked live music. It was just an amazing place of entertainment and shows and dance and just so much that Kiev provided. Now they do it during the day and into the evening, but I do look forward to those times again where Kiev will be the city that doesn't sleep. It's a beautiful city, great culture, a lot of history here in Kiev, a lot of monuments, a lot of museums and churches, beautiful churches and things to visit. There's a lot of things to learn. I learn something new almost every weekend when I go out and someone shares something new with me that I haven't heard before. And so it's wonderful. The United States is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful country, beautiful landscape, beautiful history with it. But the history is 300-400 years old. The nation's only 240, 1776, so 200 and not quite 50 years old, but as a nation. But prior to that, we still have another 200 years before, the 1600s and earlier that, the first settlers came into North America and started populating America. So you come to Kiev, and it's 1,100 years old as a city. That's not including the culture that was prior to, or a country, so that's what, prior to being a country, there was still, another 1,000, 2,000 years prior to that Ukraine, has a history. And it's and it's all the artifacts and the culture, and you can see these statues, these monuments. You see old cornerstones from a building still that you can actually see, visit, touch. A bit of history there, and it's very, very fascinating. I know that all of Europe really has that, but Ukraine is just really unique. It's really hard to explain until you've been here. I know that many people have visited here, and they're in awe, and they just keep coming back. So it's kind of a testament to the country itself. Well, when I got here, it was fascinating because there were so many opportunities that I saw. Opportunities that were common in America that are not here yet in Ukraine. And so I was looking at these golden nuggets laying all around the streets of Kiev of just business ideas and things that can be done. Now, people here are very innovative. When we had the COVID delivery, door-to-door delivery service became very paramount. I mean, this grocery stores were open, but people didn't want to go out. There was the lockdown, everything was shut down, restaurants, businesses, everybody had to work from home. And the only thing you could do, and even the parks were closed. The very first 2 months of the COVID pandemic, March of 2020, to March of 2020 to the end of May, I think going into June, was complete lockdown. Parks were locked down, forests were locked down. I mean, you couldn't go anywhere. And the only place you could walk to is the grocery store, pick up your items, and come back. So people started ordering their groceries. And so there was just a huge rush on delivery services. And you see young men on bicycles and scooters and motorcycles and carrying these big yellow and green backpacks, to be able to carry the groceries. And they were insulated so that you could bring hot or cold items and have those delivered to your home. And well, since COVID has relaxed, it's kind of taken its course, and then the world has realized that those lockdowns were worthless and masks were worthless, and so we got our life back together, and this delivery service continued. Now it's not as robust and strong as it was, but yet there's still a big line of young men with their bicycles and scooters and motorcycles outside of Silpo's and Novus and Kentucky Fried Chickens and McDonald's, and going in and out all the time. They're still delivering. So delivery service really picked up, and it continues to this day. It is kind of a convenience to order and online, and then boom, the doorbell rings. They'll tell you exactly when it's going to be there. In approximate time, they'll be there, and you get your food or your groceries or whatever you've ordered. So, people here are very good opportunists. They see something that is needed, and they go for it. So it's inspiring to see. The young generation is really looking for outlets. They're looking for ways to develop themselves. They're looking for ways to grow. They're looking for ways to be economically independent, and have a better life. Some of them are separate jobs. The taxis have really grown here. So the taxi services, you got Uber, you've got Uklon, you've got Bolt, and a couple of other taxi services that are here that have been very robust and have grown there. And these are individuals who really are looking for an extra income. Not all taxi drivers are full-time taxi drivers. A lot of them have their own businesses or their own jobs they're doing, and they're taking advantage. They have a car, and they're taking advantage of that opportunity to be able to provide another service to bring additional income to their household and to their family. So, hard work, there's just really no replacement for it. Hard work is just really, it's fulfilling, makes you exhausted at the end of the day, but I tell you what, you sleep very good. You sleep with a good conscience. You've worked hard. You've brought money into your home and your household, to your family. You've been able to provide a little extra by taking on that extra job and so on. So, again, we're just, there's opportunities out there. Ukraine doesn't have a donut shop. I miss my American donuts. What they call donuts here are not really donuts. I really don't know what they are. But so, there's places for that. That if anybody gets a taste of a real donut, they're not going to want to try anything else because they're very unique. They have the flavors are very rich and savory, mouth-watering. They're very airy. There's not donuts typically are not dense, heavy bread, so it's very light, but very, very tasty and satisfying. Just like Cinnabon. I mean, Cinnabon has come into Ukraine, and Cinnabon, I love Cinnabons. When I see one, I have to have one. It's I go to the, I see you can smell it filling up the whole mall, and it just drives you right to it. And I've got to have a Cinnabon because I know the flavors, and they use the same recipe. So it's a chain. It's an American chain, and they brought it here. And so they're using the same exact recipes, the same oven styles. Everything that they're doing is exactly the same that they are in America. So the Cinnabons here taste exactly like the Cinnabons in America. And it's and those are very, very rich and very flavorful. So, but there's just that's I'm talking about food right now, and the IT is really booming here. The computer industry, the technical aspects, and intellectual properties and stuff like that. Ukraine has really become a hub for opportunities for other countries to use the resources here for the IT services and technologies. So that's also growing in Ukraine. Now, we're in the middle of a war, and many people, and I'm starting a new business. I've told you past couple times, I'm opening up a country western saloon. This is something I've had a desire for since I've been here, because I love country dance. I love to two-step. I love to waltz. I love to swing. And even line dancing. Those are all enjoyable. They're all interactive. They're social, just like the bachata, the salsa, and the kazumba, and all of these other dances that Ukrainians love to do. This is just another genre and another source, and so it's something that I missed. And so I'm opening up this saloon this year. If everything goes well and right, I hope to open it up in December. Even during the middle of a war. Now, people ask me, no, it's dangerous. Why would you do that? What if something happens? What if this happens? And if we always think like that, we never do anything. Now is the perfect opportunity and the perfect time to open up a new saloon. It's new anyway. We've had some country western style restaurants like Arizona and Odessa and some different places like Coyote Ugly. They had kind of the flavor. They wanted to take kind of the flavor, so they have a little decoration, but it still wasn't genuine western. Now the Arizona, I believe, was very successful and very, very popular for 20 years. But it wasn't a saloon. See, the style of my saloon is a little bit more geared for entertainment. It is a restaurant. It's going to have genuine American recipes and dishes and desserts. We'll mix it in with some also Western Ukrainian dishes and borscht and other things that we'll mix in that menu as well. It'll have a bar. It'll have the dance hall. It'll have the dance floor, which is a very large floor because on country's Western dance styles, it is always moving. The floor never stops. It's just constantly moving in a counterclockwise position. We'll have the live music. We'll have the DJs. It'll all be, and then we'll have during the day, during midday, the piped-in country Western music and songs, and some of the contemporaries along with the old classics. So this is different. This is going to bring a new romance of the Old West to Kiev and to be genuine. It'd be something that we'll have an apparel store where you can buy your hats and your Stetsons if you want them, or your Ariats, boots, and different jeans. We'll have the genuine jeans there, and the plaid shirts and the tops, and for the girls, for the guys, the turquoise jewelry and silver and things, and so we'll have that store in there to be able for people to actually put on the attire and to wear it and feel kind of that romance that the West brings. So it was well thought through for 5 years, and how to build it and how to make that work. Again, back to the question, why now? Well, if you look around Kiev, because I live here, and if you look around Kiev, building and development is still going on. new restaurants opened last year and this year, and they're doing very well. People are attending them. They are filling them. Like Jardim Miasso is, you have to have a reservation in the evening, and sometimes during lunchtime, and on the weekends you definitely have to have a reservation, or you're not going to have a place to sit. You're not going to have a place to have a drink if you just want to drink. You're not going to have a place to eat. It's that busy all the time. And even on a Monday, I thought, I'm just going to walk in and sit down. Well, they didn't have a table for me. I went to the bar, sat down. I was able to eat at the bar and things, but the seats were so limited on a Monday. And so I was very, very pleased because I really enjoy Jardim Miasso. It is pure Ukrainian. The kitchen is fantastic. The food is great. They've done a fabulous job on the decoration, the ambience, the music is nice, and just the real feel of it is a wonderful feel. So if you haven't had a chance to go there, I recommend it. Peppers Club, busy on the weekends. I really, really like Peppers Club. I like the live music genre that they provide. And I've been there on a Wednesday in the middle of the week and booked. And and you couldn't sit down. Now you could go in and stand. You could stand by the bar, something like that. They do allow standing room, but it's just a really nice feel on the weekends. Again, I recommend just book a table. Just take 4, 6 people. Take some guests with you. Take some friends, and enjoy it. The music is absolutely fantastic. The bands are wonderful, and they have the different genres. They have the regular pop. Cover bands, they have their soul, funk music, they have some jazz, they have the different styles that will definitely entertain you and give you an opportunity to just relax. You can have dinner there, have some drinks, and dance. So these places have done very well. Now, Peppers Club opened before the invasion in 2022 in February. They were open in 2021 around, I think, October. And but they continued. And but the new stores, again, like I said, have been doing well. I ran into a good friend of mine yesterday. He was actually my translator when I was training the military down in Mykolaiv. I ran into him on Krishadek yesterday. I was shocked. 8 years have passed. We communicate, but I hadn't seen him face to face for 8 years. And he recognized me right away, but my looks don't change. I look the same. I think I've looked the same for the past almost 20 years. And so 8 years for him. He's a young man, and he's probably in his mid-30s now, and he had changed a little bit. Not dramatically, but enough to caught me. This is, I think I know you, but I don't know where. And he stopped me, and then he called me out by name, and I go, okay, you know me. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me who he was, and just love this kid. It's fantastic. And again, even the photos on Facebook where we have our social, where we're connected and stuff. It's younger pictures, so it caught me off guard. And but he's a port authority, and the ports are closed right now. But he's a part of the port authority, and he is doing other investment in companies. And he's also very, very heavily working on the front line now and bringing supplies and doing a lot of work to help our military. So he said, now is the time to buy. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Why now? Agriculture is going to boom, even probably bigger than it was prior to all of this with Russia's invasion and everything. Ukraine was always called the breadbasket of Europe. It provided and supplied so much product, wheat and corn and sunflower oil, and there's a massive amount of agriculture Ukraine supplied to the world. And this war really showed the world how valuable Ukraine was with the lack now, because Russia has stolen most of it and definitely stopped exports. We can't use the ports anymore, so we can't export through ship, and so we have to do it through train and trucks, and so it's really dropped the supply to the world of Ukrainian food. And when this war is over, and we have some great companies coming in that's going to be doing our demining of what Russia has planted into the ground, which is not sunflowers, but these mines that are very dangerous that will need to be removed. our agriculture is going to boom and our ports are going to thrive. Our ports are going to thrive like they've never thrived before. These are opportunities. Again, if you're thinking of opportunities, if you're thinking, what can I do? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I'm an investor. I have money. I haven't been able to really put it anywhere safe or place that I've been comfortable with. Now is the time to buy. Now is the time to get things established and get started. You're going to get the best price now anyway, and it's not about taking advantage of a situation. It's really, you purchasing land, whether it's for agriculture or properties for commercial businesses or even residential developments or anything like that. It's really preparing for a robust economy that's going to be hitting Ukraine. And so now's the time to do it. You don't wait until you pay top dollar for it. You're not going to get any bang for your buck. And of course, the wealthy know that, and wealthy know when to start moving their money around, and that's what they're doing. The wealthy are already moving their money in Ukraine. Banks are already moving their money in Ukraine. I'm talking about international banks. Banks outside of Ukraine are already starting to invest in developments in property development and reconstruction. That's going on right now in Ukraine. And banks don't throw their money away. They know more about the economic factors and stabilizers and the different nuances that are going on in each country, and so there's a shift coming on right now that it's good to be prepared for, and it's good to start working on. So if you have some ideas that you've been thinking about, and like I said last week, and you've been writing it down on paper, and you've kind of run it by your close friends or family members, stuff like that, or people around you, and you're getting this positive feedback from that. And you see that there's going to be a need coming here, and even now that can be supplied, do it. Find a way to do it. Act it out. Take the steps now. Don't just have it as a dream or an idea. Don't wait for the war to end. Go ahead and keep your job, do what you're doing now, but if you have an idea, it's time to do it. It's not time to wait. Those who wait are the ones who pay the highest price and don't benefit anything. I have a little scenario that I'd like to kind of describe and explain to you. I'm from the baby boomer era. So from 1947 to 1964 is the generation of the baby boomers. This is the post-war parents that produced a lot of kids. And men had great jobs. I mean, these manufacturers and manufacturing companies that were making planes and ships and everything, well, they had to shift. They weren't making planes and ships anymore, so they became very innovative and started producing things that are for consumer products in the United States. And so the industrial age just really, really boomed during this time. And there was just a tremendous amount of jobs and opportunities, which really made the middle class very, very strong in the United States, and that's really where the economy lies, is in the middle class. So I'm a baby boomer, but the problem is I'm the end of the baby boomer age. What that means is in 1947, those are the beginning stage. My brothers were born prior to 1947, all the way through 47 and into the 50s. I have 5 brothers, and so I was the last at 1961. 1964 was the end of the baby boomers. I'm being at the tail end, the baby of the baby boomers. All of the innovative ideas, Pampers, peanut butter, Wonder Bread, all the conveniences of life today came because of a need to service the baby boomers. They were babies, and they, then it was disposable diapers, or not disposable, excuse me, they were cloth diapers, and so it was a whole industry that was built around sterilizing and doing services for laundry services for diapers. So they would come and pick up a bag, and leave off a fresh bag, and they would pick up your dirty bag and take that off, and it was a cleaning service for that. When the baby boomers themselves became parents, they didn't want to deal with that, and that's where Pampers exploded. Pampers and all Huggies and all these other diaper companies. and baby wipes and all of the necessities and the comforts to be able to make our life easier to take care of our children compared to what our mothers and fathers went through. And then schools. I was in a new school almost every segment. So I was in a new school in elementary. I was in a new school in middle school. The only new school I didn't go to was in high school. That school had been in existence for a really long time. It was one of the original schools in my city. But there was a big boom and need for schools, and they were always behind. And when they finished making the schools, they still had too many kids, and they start bringing in modulars to go on the outside. It's like, this is a brand new school. Why are we in modulars? And these are portable, like a mobile home type styles that they converted into a school and put an air conditioning unit on it, and that was their school. So because they couldn't build the schools fast enough for the influx of children that were being born and growing up into elementary and middle school and so on. Well, then all of a sudden the baby boomers are in their 20s and they're in their 30s. Again, that's where the Pampers and everything really exploded, and the baby food and the formulas and all of that stuff just exploded. Everything became processed. That's where also the fast food exploded. The fast food industry exploded during that time because of the baby boomers. It was the demand. The baby boomers didn't have time to cook and prepare things when they're in their 20s and 30s, so they fast fooded it, and they got processed food. And so all of this wave is called the baby boomer wave, is going through society. The baby boomers, when we were in school, you were considered over the hill at the age of 30. Think about that. Now, I'm much older than that. At the age of 30, when we were children in school, we thought, 30, oh, they're over the hill. Now, maybe kids think that today. I don't know. I'm not a kid, and I haven't asked my children that either. But with the baby boomers, sporting industries, the sports clubs and all that was because those popped up everywhere because of the baby boomers. And they still are popping up because the baby boomers, again, they want to exercise. They're now starting to eat more healthy. They're getting away from the processed foods because they got educated. They realized that they're killing themselves. So now they changed their formulation of dieting and are starting to eat more whole foods and more vegetables and more raw things. So now we got Whole Foods company that's selling, and those have popped up. Well, also things like Viagra and drugs to keep you alive, drugs to keep you vibrant, and drugs to make you lose weight and things like that. Those all boomed because of the baby boomers. And now the baby boomers are in their 60s and 70s. And if, let me see, so it's 64 to 47, yeah, so 70s, they're not in their 80s yet. They don't want to get old. And so that's where this youth programs and this, these psychology groups and all of these motivational things that are going on, baby boomers are out there living life. They don't say that you're over the hill at 30. They say life begins at 60. They keep rephrasing, they keep coining new phrases for their lifestyle. They're going to be in their 80s and 90s and so on, and they're just going to be just as vibrant. They're still going to be dancing in their 80s and 90s, and they're still going to, probably to the grave. That's just the motivation of the baby boomer era that has swept through the world. Now, that was a long story, but I wanted to do that to let you know that me, at the bottom of that, as the baby boomers, when I got into business, I was only selling my older baby boomer generation's ideas, not my ideas, their ideas. They're the ones that were making things happen, and I was in business and I was selling their things. And it was frustrating because I was thinking, how do I get my head ahead of the group to know what's needed in the next thing? I'm not old enough to know that I needed, ramps to make life easier for the handicapped. I wasn't old enough to think that I needed a drug to, make me sexually active, and things like that. I was always behind the 8 ball, as we say. I was never in front. And it was frustrating to be in that generation and that wave, and always at the peak, but never on the real face of it and really riding the wave well. I was always almost feeling like I was missing the wave. I was always on the very top, but never really enjoying the face of the wave. Well, that's kind of what's going on in Ukraine, and that's why we say build or buy now, invest now, put your money in projects, put your money in companies, manufacturers, put your money in agriculture, put your money now. Don't invest the money you need back today or tomorrow. That's not wise. If you're already an investor, you've already got a discipline anyway on how you invest, and you slate your money into categories, and so the money that you're going to put into something is it says, okay, this is going to sit here for 5 years to get the maximum growth before I pull it out and put it in something else. When you buy land for property, stuff like that, you're not buying it for the growth this year. You're buying it for the growth over the next 2 to 3 years and beyond. And I can't really express the X factor on that and what that's going to really relate to and how that's going to translate into the future, because it's really outside the normal boundaries. It could be a 10x, it could be a 50x, it could be a 100x. It's just hard to say, which one of those X's are, but we know that they're X. We can look at the histories of other countries that have gone through what Ukraine's going through and how they've come out of those situations and those war-torn situations and thrived. We can look at Europe as a good standard too, because Ukraine is Europe and Ukraine is also coming into the EU. And we can see these EU countries that were war-torn in World War II and how they developed and how they thrived, and new countries who've come into the EU and how their dollar has become more robust, their currency has become more robust and everything. So Ukraine is really on this verge of a massive explosion of economic growth. And you want to get in it now and invest. And so land is one of the greatest opportunities to really invest in. Land is one of them. Buildings is another one. Manufacturing buildings is another one, because there's going to be a tremendous amount of need to produce new manufacturing companies. I have a buddy who's wanting to expand and update his building, his facility. He's a milling facility, for oak, and he exports from Ukraine treated oak, milled and then shipped over to the UK. So the UK is paying some premium dollar for this oak here, but that's taken a hit during the war. But they're still working, they're still existing, and that is going to turn around and turn over and boom again. So there's opportunities there to invest in something like that, into a milling facility, to upgrade their facility so they can do better production and increase their production capabilities and their efficiencies. If you increase your efficiencies, you lower your overhead costs and expenses that improve your profits. So these are all investment triggers that you're looking for to get the most for your money. And so why am I building a new restaurant in Ukraine? Well, I'm going to take an existing building, but because I've created something that will be sustained by Ukraine, for Ukraine, by Ukrainians in itself. But when the flood of tourism comes in, it's just going to blow the doors wide open. It's going to be like you'll see some of those places where there's a big old long line. We won't be able to avoid those long lines because there's just the number of people. The only way we can do is possibly open up another saloon inside of Kiev to be able to distribute the crowd, especially, again, when the tourism really hits. You're going to see restaurants are doing very well, like Jardy Miasto. Jardy Miasto is right by Basarabka. It's right across the street. It's in the heart, in the city. What are they going to do? They're going to have to open up another Jardy Miasto, probably not too far away, just to be able to take the influx. Things like that. And Arsenal, that the new district up there where Kiev Food Market is, and all of these really beautiful restaurants that are along there, and that place, is just going to be a huge tourist attraction. So there's going to have to be expansion in there, and they're doing some great construction and new buildings that are going on right now. But that's why, and they're doing it now. This building and these new places are coming in now. they are preparing for this. I do some recordings, English, they need some native speakers. I do some recordings. These are for tourist companies, so that my voice kind of gives the tour guide for those English speaking, give instructions and things like that. I do some recordings for some companies. And one of the companies that I'm recording for is a tourist company that is preparing for tourism. They're doing this now. They're getting all the recordings together, they're getting everything prepped, and they're getting everything ready. I'm sure they're getting their vehicles ready because they talk about the hotels. They have a specific hotel that they're talking about. They're going to have tour guides. They have a complete package that they're going to be putting together for people to come together, including the flights, the hotels, the tour guides, the transportation, everything from the airport, everything. You have options on that. You can go as minimal as you want. You can go to the maximum as you want. Luxury rooms, very comfortable rooms, nice, very beautiful hotel. They are doing that now. And these people are not stupid. Matter of fact, these are the intelligent people that are gearing up. They're already getting ahead of the game. They'll take the slow period right now, but they're willing to take that. That's part of the risk. That's part of the package of building during a war, especially on the tourism. There is some tourism coming in right now, and there is people coming in already at this point, and that's increasing slowly and a little bit by little bit. But when the wall of war collapses and war is over and Ukraine is in peace and we're under blue skies again, it's going to be hard to say. It's going to be again. It's one of those you can't explain how that's going to impact Ukraine. And tourism is going to be the fastest way to bring economic stability and growth into Ukraine. The long-term investments are the things that's going to carry Ukraine into the 5 and the 10 and the 20 years. Tourism is what's going to bring the dollars and the euros and the pounds in now into Ukraine. And that, so these, if you have any concepts, let's say you're very good at embroidery and doing beautiful vyshyvankas and different things where you have the cloths that you put on the tables and all the different types of styles of Ukraine and Ukraine culture and Ukraine art. If that's your gift, that's what you need to gear up for, because people are going to want to take Ukraine home with them. So there is just gold nuggets laying all over the streets, and this is your opportunity to think now, what can I do? If you have an idea, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on my website or on my email, which is the website is at the bottom of the page here, at mike.wilson@nsiteblue.co.uk. You can email me, and I'll be happy to respond to you. And but they're out there. Get into some, like with Irina last week, we were talking about support groups and entrepreneurs. There is Miracle Morning. They're international, but they have a group here in Ukraine, and they get together. They get together online. They get together live. Irina puts some things together where I'm a guest speaker about once a month in that group on the weekend to do a small segment on business in English. We talk about learning English. There's going to be a lot of opportunity for English teachers now to really expand their capabilities and to be able to take on more students. English is going to be vital. So again, I can't begin to stress the number of opportunities that are available for you. And now is the time to do it. And don't sweat that if it's a slow start. My saloon is not kicking off as fast as I'd like for it to do, and I hit walls from time to time. I get stumbling blocks, the underwater rocks as you call them, and I have to clear them. I have to step back a little bit and say, okay, let me clear these rocks out of the way to make the path smoother and so that the water flows freely and my boat doesn't hit the rocks and sink. And, but I look at the progress that I'm making. I like to do business, what we call $0 startups. So that you create all of the necessary things, the infrastructure of your business and everything, and then you bring your investors or crowdfunding in to bring in your finance to support it. So I've been doing this in America for 30 years. I've been doing $0 startups, And so, I'll be starting up a school anyway on business and on business concepts and Western philosophy. And so I'll be going over those ideas. There are ways, you don't have to have $1 to get started. Well, maybe $1, but what you're currently doing, you're surviving on anyway. And it's not taxing to really open up another company. And there's ways to do it. And get with other entrepreneurs and find ways to be inspired, find ways for support, find ways for education, find ways to get yourself out there. Don't spend too much time on education. Don't spend too much time talking about it. You need to make the steps. Our logo, the most famous logo probably around the world, is Just Do It. It's an American company, and that's kind of the American philosophy, is that we don't spend time thinking too much because we just do it. We go out and do it, and that's what Nike did, and of course it's a huge company right now. That's a philosophy that you should take for yourself. Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Stop making excuses why you're not doing it, why you'll do it tomorrow, or why you'll do it when the war's over, or why you'll always find excuses. Face your fears. That was one of the things we talked about. Face your fears. Talk to yourself about those fears. Face them head on. Open them up to other people and find out what really happens. You know what? Other people have the same fears, and how did they overcome? Or maybe they haven't, but at least you're getting it out there. You're expressing yourself, and you're going to get answers that way. You don't get answers thinking. You don't get answers laying in bed, letting your mind just swim and swim and swim and swim in thoughts, and losing sleep over it. It's nice to lose sleep over inspiration and being motivated to do something, but if you aren't actually doing it, those dreams are going to die, and nothing's going to happen for it. So you have to get out there and do it. Take advantage of the opportunities that are before you. Look at the needs around you and look to fulfill them. Those are the best business concepts and the best business ideas you can come up with. So that is my story. I've been wanting to share that with you. It's just, I'm inspired on these things. I motivate myself by doing. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I don't feel like doing anything, and I feel a little down because I didn't get anything done yesterday. And I feel like, oh my goodness, you're just depressed. But I wake up and I think, no, I know what gets me out of depression. The first thing that gets me out of depression is texting a friend and say, hey, I want to talk to you about this, or I want to send this over, or talking to a business associate or somebody that is going to be involved with your idea or your company. Say, hey, let's get together for lunch. They said, yeah, I've got time, let's do it. That gets me out of my mode immediately. That gets me out of that depressed, that lethargic, woe's me idea and mood, because now I got something to look forward to, and now I'm going to be talking about the business. I'm going to be talking about what they're going to be doing and what we need to do. And when you start making those steps, all of a sudden progress starts making. I have a fantastic meeting tomorrow. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. It's just another major step into the success of the Saloon that's going to open up. And so I'm excited about that. I've been thinking about it all day and about our program today. But so, you can, pull yourself out of your muck and just make the steps forward. Call somebody tonight, right now. Call somebody and say, I've been wanting to get with you. I need to talk about my idea. I need your feedback. Anything. Hey, I was thinking about you. I want you to come and help. Get involved. Get them involved. That motivates you. So anyway, thank you for joining me this evening. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And we'll be, again, this is the program of business and opportunities. So we'll be going over this again, I just hope that it gives you some inspiration and some ideas. And have a good time, have a good evening, have a good week ahead of you. Be inspired and motivated. Slava Ukraina.